Hello, students. This is Mr. Nguyen. Thank you for joining me. Today, I am going to walk you through how to solve some equations. The first one we're going to do is solving just two-step equations, which means it's going to take two inverse operations to isolate the variable. So for this example, we're going to solve for for Q. Sorry, not K, Q. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to take away this 18 by subtracting it, right? So I'm going to be subtracting the 18 from both sides of the equation. So this is what I'm going to do. Let me write it all. So it's Q divided by 4 plus 18 equals 220. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take away the 18, right? I'm going to take away the 18. And I got to do it on both sides, right? And then I'm going to write down my results, which is Q divided by 4 on this side, because the 18 and the 18 cancel or they become 0. And then on the left hand side or the right hand side, I would have 20 minus 18, which is 2. And now to undo, remember, inverse operation will undo the original operation. So if I want to undo dividing by 4, I would have to multiply it by 4. So I would have to do 4 times Q divided by 4 equals, I can't type, equals 4 times 2. Right? Remember, I got to multiply 4 on both sides of my equation. So now this 4 and this 4 actually cancel, right? Or they become 1. This 4 is going to be multiplied by 2. Okay. So what is my result here? My result is Q, 1Q equals to 8. 4 times 2 is 8. So the solution to this equation is 8. Okay. Submit. Yay. I am going to take away what I did there. Start over. All right. What do we got here? We have, pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to skip this problem. It's just like the last one. So we're going to subtract 1 and then we're going to multiply by 2. I'm not going to skip. Well, let me jump level because the problems are repeating. Okay. All right. We jump level so that we can see some other type of problem. Okay, so here we have a minus, a negative. So okay, in math we see it that way, but we typically don't write it that way. It's actually plus 73. Okay, so minus a negative is subtracting the opposite. Subtracting the opposite is the same thing as adding. Okay, so equal 82. So what I'm doing here is I'm rewriting the equation. Okay, so now I'm going to follow the same step as before. I'm going to take away the 73, take away the 73, take away the 73. Okay, and then I do, on the left hand side, I have u over 4 equal 82 minus 73. I believe that is 9, right? 9. So I'm gonna, the next step is to get rid of the division. I have to multiply everything by 4, right? So multiply by 4. Now, the next problems that I'm doing, I'm probably not gonna type this out like this anymore. I'm just doing this, the first few problems, so that you can see the inverse operation, right? So my solution here is u equal to 36, okay? Because that's 4 times 9. So I'm going to type in 36 and see if I did made any mistakes. Submit. Yay, we didn't make mistake. Okay, this is the same. This is kind of different. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 5. Okay, so we're going to subtract 5. You could actually, if you know your inverse operation, you could actually do this on your calculator, right? So you start with 9 right here, and you're going to subtract 5 away, and then you're going to do the inverse for multiplication is dividing by 2. So essentially, to solve this equation, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing subtracting 5 on both sides, right? So subtracting 5. Technically, I am really just moving this 5 over here by doing the opposite, right? So I'm taking away 5 on that side. Okay, if you can think of it that way, it makes your problem go a little bit faster. So 2q equals to 4, and then you're going to divide by 2, right? Divide by 2, divide by 2, and q would equal to 2. Okay, so next time I'm going to walk you through just what to do, and then we do it on the calculator so you can see. Okay, so the answer to this problem, or the solution, one solution is 2. Okay, submit. Yay. All right, let's start this one. All right, so here we go. I'm going to walk you through, and I'm going to do it on your on the calculator. Okay, I'm going to walk you through this. So, of course, you're going to be moving all of this away, right? So the 83 is going to be your starting number. So you're going to start not 83, 88. So 88 is my starting number on the left hand side. So what I'm going to do to this 81 is I'm going to subtract the 81. So I will subtract, that's my first inverse operation. Subtract 81, not 18. 81, 81. Hit enter. All right, so my 7. And then to get rid of this 8, I have to multiply both sides by 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this answer, I'm going to multiply it by 8. And I'm going to end up with 56. And 56 is going to be my answer. Submit. All right, I'm gonna jump level here so that we can get to the challenge zone, so you can see some more challenging problem. This is not really challenging, it's just decimal, right? But with a calculator you can work this out. So you're gonna start with the first number, because everything is gonna be moving to the right hand side. So 14.1 is gonna be your starting number. 14.1, you're gonna start with that number. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take away the 9, so subtract 9. Okay, hit enter. And then finally, you're going to divide by 3. Divide by 3. Enter. So our answer here is 1.7. It's not, the steps are still the same, just inverse operation. The numbers are a little tricky because they're, decimal numbers. Okay. And then here, we're going to start with 1, right? So on your calculator, you're going to start with the number 1. You're going to add 2 and then multiply by 2. So I'm doing everything inverse, right? So 1, I'm going to add 2 first, hit enter, and then now I'm going to multiply by 2. And I'm going to get 6, okay? So I'm going to type in 6 for my answer. And then after this, I think I'm going to jump one more level so we can get to the challenge zone, I think. Yes, so we're in the challenge zone, and when you're doing practice, getting to 100 is good, but a 90 it's also very good. Okay, so here for this problem, I'm probably not going to get to 100 so that I can get to other problems on the other practice. Okay, so here you're going to start with 9.45, so 9.45. And then you're gonna first remember you gotta get rid of this first. Okay, so subtract first. Subtract the 3.45 first. 3.45. Enter, and then you're gonna divide by 3. Divide by 3. There you go. The answer is 2. And by the way, if you want to get this calculator on your computer, I have the direction to download this calculator on your calendar. Okay, so check that out. And if you need help, just let me know. I'll walk you through the steps. The answer here is 2. Submit. All right. So, guys, the rest of these problems are pretty much repeating. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to the another solving equation practice. So this one is a little different. So I'm going to do this next one here. This one is actually, let me pull up my web paint here. This one is actually equations with the variables on both sides of your equation. As you can see here, there's 5p here and there's 5p here. So we have to somehow bring them together, right? So here's the rule of thumb. Always remove the smaller variable first. Okay. Always remove the smaller variable. So if you can see here, I have 5p equal 4p plus 9. I have to remove either the 5p or the 4p. Well, the rule is remove the smaller variable first, because if you remove the smaller variable, you'll always end up with a positive variable. Okay, and a positive variable is what we want. We want, remember, when we're solving an equation, we're going to end up with positive p, right? So I'm going to remove the 4p. So I'm subtract 4p. Oops, 4p. Subtract 4p. Okay. So that will give me 1p left. 5p, take away 4p is 1p, equal. Well, on this side, the 4p is gone, so I have 9 left. So the answer is 9. So still, it takes a few steps. You're still using inverse operation to sort of isolate things or to move things around the equation. That doesn't change. What's changed is what you do first. Okay, so here we remove the variable first. So our answer here is 9. Submit. Okay, very good. All right, remember, keep moving the variable first. So let's start with this one. Now we have 7y plus 10 equals 6y. Okay, I'm going to do this slowly first. Okay, 7y plus 10 equals 6y. Now I'm going to do this slowly first. Next time I'm going to do 2 steps at once. I'm going to first remove the 6y. Remove the 6y. Okay, but then you may be asking yourself, well, if I remove the 6y over here, there's nothing left there. Well, that's okay. Just simplify your equation. 7y take away 6y is 1y plus 10 equal, well, if there's nothing there, you put a 0 there to hold the place of that, right? So because 6y take away 6y is 0y, which is 0. Now you're going to move the 10 by subtracting it, right? So you're going to be subtracting 10. So you're removing that 10. Oops, I did something. You're going to remove, oops, no, 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 get back over here. Removing the 10. Hey guys, all these technical problem. So y end up being negative 10 is your solution. Okay. Next time I could, because these 2 steps are actually what we call independent of each other. That means one doesn't affect the other. That means if the steps are independent, I could have done them at the same time. That means I could have removed the 6y and removed the 10 at the same time, and then I get my answer right away. I don't have to do it in 2 steps. I could have done it in 1 step. Okay, submit. All right, let's start over here. So between these two, which is smaller, so between the negative 2h and the negative 1h, which is smaller, sometimes we see a 2 and we think it's bigger. But when things are negative, the bigger you are, the smaller you are. Okay, so I am actually going to remove the negative 2h by adding it, right? And I know it's going to look weird to you. These are a very unconventional way to do solve equation. It looks weird to you, but it's going to make sense here. 0 equal, now negative 1h plus 2h will give you 1 positive h. You see that? So your variable is actually positive now. And then plus 6. And of course, we're going to be taking away that 6, right? Subtracting the 6 away from both sides to get h by itself. So the answer is actually negative 6 equal to h, which is the same as saying h equals negative 6. So I'm going to type in my solution, negative 6. Okay. The next one, I'm going to skip jump level, okay? Jump level, because these are just repeating themselves now. So let's jump level. See if we can jump again. Yeah, let's jump one more. Here we have numbers and variables on both sides. Let's just do one of these, okay? So I'm going to rewrite the equation, or just equal 10p. And if you're doing this by yourself, on your own. You don't have to rewrite the equation like I do here. You can just work it on paper if you want to. All right, so the smaller variable is 9. So I'm taking now, I'm going to show you both way here, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take away this negative, so subtracting 9p, correct, on both sides, subtracting 9p on both sides, right? That's what we do, okay? Now, and then look at the numbers. They're on both sides. What I'm going to end up with, all the p's are going to be over here, which means I have to move the 1. So at the same time, I can actually subtract the 1. I can actually subtract the 1 at the same time. Subtract the 1. So that when I write my solution, everything will work out. This will go away, okay? And this will go away, okay? And then my solution would be negative 10 equals 1p, which is the same as saying p equals negative 10. So I'm going to type that in. Yay. Okay. Can we skip? All right, let's do this. There's too many variables everywhere. But as you can see, the first one right here, this right here is actually a 0. Because if you have 4h and you take away 4h, positive, negative, they actually cancel itself out. So this equation has actually become very simplified, right? It's very simple. Okay, negative 3 plus h. So what I did here, guys, is I look at the equation and I say, okay, how can I simplify this equation? Because that's what we're doing when we're solving an equation. It's just make the equation simple and simple and simple, you know, every step. Okay, make it simpler. So now that I break it down to this far, all I have to do is remove the negative 3, which means I'm going to be adding the 3 to the other side, right? So I'm going to add 3 to that side. So h turned out to be 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay. So this is, it looks at first difficult, but it's not. Okay. All right, so here we go. This is the same as before. What we're going to do is we're going to actually, so I'm going to type it in right here if you don't mind. The negative 6u is actually smaller, right? So we're going to remove that one by adding 6u. Oops, I should have typed it in a little bit lower so that it doesn't sit on top of the other guy. Add 6u to this side and add 6u to this side, right? Add 6u, okay? 6u. Okay, so what I'm going to end up having is this 6u actually go away. But as you can see, this is the reason why I remove the smaller variable, because when it goes to the other side, it becomes big. So it actually make it bigger now, so that I have a positive u left equal to 9. Okay, and that's actually my solution right there. Okay, so the more you play with this, the better you're going to become and the faster you're going to be solving these equations, okay? All right, very cool. Let's see, I'm going to skip, I'm going to jump level just so that we can get to the challenge zone maybe. Challenge zone. Some of these are going to repeat themselves, okay? Let's do one of these. They're decimals. They're nothing, the steps are the same, but they're decimals, so you kind of have to play with the numbers to see which is smaller, okay? So 12.7, it's apparently or obviously less than 13.3, right? So we're going to removing the 12.7, and then at the same time, I'm going to move this back. So here's what I'm doing. I'm moving this over here by subtracting, right? So I'm going to be subtracting, okay? And then I'm moving this over here, and that's also going to be subtracting because it's positive, right? So what I'm going to end up having is this equation, negative 4.56, because I'm moving that to the other side, so it's going to be subtracting. And then 13.3 m minus 12.7 m. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this and say, okay, what is that? What is 13.3 minus 0.3 minus 12.7? So you do this on your calculator to get an answer for the letter m, right? So it's 0.6 m. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type this in. I'm going to type this in. That's negative 4.56 equals to 0.6 m. Remember, the letter m is still there. And then, of course, we're going to be solving for m, so we have to divide by zero point 0.6, right? So we're going to end up dividing by zero point 0.6. Divide by 0.6. 0.6. Okay. My handwriting is terrible. I don't have a good pen to write with, guys, so excuse my handwriting, but you get the point. So go to your calculator, do negative 4.56 divided by 0.6. Negative 4.56 divided by zero point 0.6. That's all you got to do. And then our answer is negative 0.76. So trust your calculator and go with the flow. So negative 7.6, right? So my short-term memory failed me. Submit. Yay. Okay, cool. Let's start over. Oh my gosh. Okay, all over the place here. Okay, so here, what's the plan? The plan is to remove, right? Remove this over here because it's smaller, and then remove this back over here. So that's essentially what I'm doing. So I'm going to type that equation in and let you see. 19.4y minus 9.1y equals negative 19.44, right? Why negative? Because there's a negative in front of it right here. Okay, and then when I'm moving this 18 back over here, it becomes negative also. So minus 18.67. So I'm going to type all of this into my calculator and see what it's going to give me, okay? So I'm going to do 19 point, let's see. I'm going to do 19.4 minus 9.1. So 19.4 minus 9.1. 9.1. I think I'm going to move my calculator over here a little bit so I can see all my work. All right, enter. So I have 10.3. And then I'm also going to do 19.44. So negative 19.44 minus 18.67. Okay, if you do this, next time I'm going to just do it on the calculator live so that I can type it in faster. Type it in on the screen. It's slow for me. Anyway, so I'm going to type that in, and I'm going to get this answer. So 10.3y equals negative 38.11. So 10.3y, okay, I'll do this here. Sorry, 10.3y equals, what was the other number? Negative 38.11. Okay, so what we're going to do eventually is dividing this negative 38.11 by 10.3, right? So we know that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and go to our calculator and take this answer, and you can just type in divide because it's going to take the previous answer and divide it. 10.3. 10.3. Enter. Negative 3.7 is our answer. So we're going to type that in. Negative 3.7. Okay. Just want to make sure. Negative 3.7. It penalizes you. It takes the points away if you get one wrong answer. So I want to be very careful before I hit submit that I typed in everything correctly. Okay, submit. There have been occasions where I type in carelessly and then I worked it out correctly, but I type it in wrong and then I got penalized. So, all right, here's a mess. What do we do? So always focus on your C first, okay? Here's some C right here, or your variable. Here's some C right here, okay? And then you ask yourself, okay, which of these numbers, there's no more C, right? Which of these are the smaller one? Well, remember, if it's negative, the bigger the number, the smaller the value, okay? So this is actually smaller. So I'm gonna be adding 6c. Okay, so I'm going to add 6c to the other side. So, and then let's go ahead and work on the number. If all the c's are moving over here, so if this c move over here that way, that direction, then this point 22 need to move back over here because they cannot be on the same side. The numbers and the variables have to be on opposite side in order for us to solve. So let me type in what my plans are. Negative 2.1 c add 6c, right? Because we're moving that and we do opposite, right? Or and then equal, put the equal sign now. On the other side is negative 17.69 minus 14.85, and then minus again 0.22 or 0.22. It doesn't matter if you put a zero or not in front, but that's my plan. That's what we're doing, right? So we could actually type all of this into the calculator. I'm gonna go ahead and do this on my calculator and not the screen because I can type in this a little bit faster. Uh, so for the first one, I got 3.9c equal, and then let me do the other one, negative 17.69 minus 14.85 minus 0.22. I get negative 32.76, so negative 32.76. Okay, and then I'm going to be dividing by by 3.9. So that c is by itself. So I'm going to take the negative 32.76. I'm going to divide by 3.9. And I get negative 8.4. Negative 8.4. Okay. So I'm going to type in my answer here. Negative 8.4. And hopefully I didn't make any silly mistakes. Yay. Wonderful. Okay. Let's see. Let's jump level so we can get to the challenge zone. There we are. Okay. I can't jump anymore. All right. Oh, I love this one. This one has what we call the distributive property, right? So we have to take care of this first. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple of ways. You can do this first, right? If you do this, it's going to take some work, right? So I'm going to show you that, and then if we have another one similar, I'm going to show you an easier way, or maybe I'll show you both ways. So let me show you both ways. Let me draw a line here and show you method one. Method one is multiply the 2 through. So if I multiply the 2 through, I'm going to do negative 2 times negative 12. So that's going to give me negative 24. And then I'm going to do 2 times negative 3g. That will give me negative 6g. Right? Okay. So that's the left hand side. On the right hand side, I'm going to multiply the 6 through. So I'm going to get negative 12g. Okay. And then 6 times negative 6 will give me negative 36. Okay, negative 36. So that's called distributing the numbers through the parentheses. And then now I just move things around like I did before. So I'm gonna, all right, remember the negative 6 and the negative 12. The negative 12 is actually smaller, so it needs to move. Okay, so always move the smaller variable. And then if the g move over here, that means the 24 needs to move over here. Okay, so what we're gonna end up having is negative 6g plus 12g. As you can see how when it moved to the other side, it becomes bigger. So now you're going to end up with positive variable instead. And then on the right hand side, we have negative 36 left. And then we're adding the 24 to that, right? Because we're moving this 24 back. Okay. So what do we have here? We have 6g positive because negative 6 and 12 is positive 6 equal negative 36 plus 24. That's going to give us negative 12. So negative 12. And then we're going to divide by 6. So g is actually going to equal to negative 2. Okay, so my answer is negative 2. Let me show you the other method. The other method is you don't distribute. You're going to divide. So you could actually get rid of this 2, right, by moving this 2 over here and do the opposite operation, which means you're going to divide by 2. So you're going to take that 6 and you're going to divide by 2. Okay? So that actually get rid of that number, get rid of both of those numbers in front of the parentheses for you. I'm not saying that it's faster or better, but that's just another way to do it. So, so over here on the right hand side or on the left hand side, all I have left is negative 12 minus 3g. On the other side, I'm going to have 3. I'm still having a number in front of the parentheses, but it's smaller now because I cut it in half. Right? I divide by 2. Okay? So now I'm going to still using the distributive property. So I don't know if it's worth your time doing it this method. I don't know if it saves you any extra time or not. But this is another way to do it, right? This is another way to do it. So what you're going to do is type this in, right? Distribute this in. So you're going to end up with, what is it? Negative 6g minus 18. Okay. And then because it is smaller, we're going to move this one over here. Okay. And then we're going to move the 12 back. Okay. So we're going to end up with negative 3g plus 6g equals negative 18 plus 12. Okay, because I'm moving this negative 12 over, it becomes plus 12. And then I simplify this, I get 3g equal 6, right? Because, oh, negative 6, sorry, negative 6. Because a negative 18 plus 12 is negative 6. And then I divide it by 3. 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. So I get the same answer, but I think my second method is actually longer. Right? My second method is actually longer because I'm gonna have to end up doing pretty much what I need to do here. So the first method, this method right here seems to be better, guys. Okay, this method right here seems to be the way to go. Okay, the first method. All right, let's type in our answer, and I think that is correct, negative 2. And then I'm gonna stop because I think I have shown you every single type of problems that you're going to encounter. So you try this out yourself and let me know how it goes. And if you need any help, just screenshot the problem and send it to me. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like my videos, if you think they're helpful, click subscribe to my channel, and then you'll see more tutorial videos with math problems from IXL. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.